At just 18 years old, Kayla Lovdahl has already transitioned to a boy, regretted that decision and detransitioned back to being a girl. Now, she's taking the doctors and hospitals that allegedly rushed her through gender treatment to court. Her story is shocking, yet not uncommon. According to her lawsuit filed in California's state court last week, Kayla first decided she was a boy at age 11 after learning about the transgender community online. By 12, she alleges, she was prescribed puberty blockers and testosterone by doctors who failed to provide sufficient psychological screening, and who told her parents, "It's better to have a live son than a dead daughter." At 13, Kayla had her healthy breasts removed in a double mastectomy to masculinize her chest, and by 17, she'd realized it was all a mistake, and that the professionals around her had failed to protect her. "The hardest part was being sold something that I believed was going to help me and make me feel better, only to do it and come out on the other side not feeling any better," Kayla said in a YouTube interview. "I could always have waited, but I can't undo it." The California native is suing Kaiser Foundation hospitals and 4 individual doctors, seeking unspecified damages for causing deep physical and emotional wounds and severe regret. They essentially handed Kayla the prescription pad and allowed her naive, emotional, childish rollercoaster of feelings to dictate the so-called treatment that she would receive, the lawsuit alleges. Kayla's attorney Mark E. Trammell of the Center for American Liberty told the Post that the hospital and doctors breached the standard of care that they should be held to as medical professionals by allowing her to transition so quickly. In a statement, a representative for Kaiser Permanente told the Post, "When adolescent patients, with parental consent, seek gender-affirming care, the patient's care team carefully evaluates their treatment options, and then a multidisciplinary team of physicians and other experienced professionals are available to provide the patient and their family with information, counseling, and other support. Care decisions always rest with the patient and their parents or guardians, and, in every case, we respect the right of patients and their families to make informed decisions about their personal health." Tragically, Kayla is joining a growing group of young people speaking out about their gender transition regret. "I first reported on detransitioners a year ago, when the phenomenon was still little known. My reporting was cited by the House of Representatives Committee on Oversight and Reform in a letter to the Department of Health and Human Services, warning about the shortfalls of gender-affirming care for minors. In the months since, more and more detransitioners and medical professionals alike have been ringing the alarm bells about hasty gender care. But many of the detransitioners who are brave enough to share their cautionary tales have been shut out by the very same transgender activist community that once embraced them. I believe that there are well-meaning advocates who are genuinely invested in helping struggling children find their true selves. But it's obvious that any rush to label children as trans and speed them through medical transition can have devastating consequences. Even someone who supports the rights of trans adults to medically transition should take pause at the thought of a 13-year-old, barely a teenager, being allowed to remove healthy parts of their body based, often, only on a sudden and recent conviction that they were born in the wrong body. But, because it's become a culture war issue, we're presented with a false choice between grooming kids or advocating trans genocide. One can oppose the medical transition of minors, while also embracing a live and let live mentality. When it comes to adults, there's a common sense, compassionate compromise. Even countries that were once the most progressive on treating trans youth are coming to this conclusion. France, Sweden, Finland and the United Kingdom have all pumped the brakes on gender-affirming care for minors. Now it's time for America to do the same. Unfortunately, the next frontier in this battle requires teens who should have never been in this position in the first place to duke it out in court. Trammell is also representing detransitioner Chloe Cole in a similar ongoing legal battle, and says both cases are really novel lawsuits in this country. He believes the lawsuits will cause doctors and hospitals who are performing these types of surgeries to really give informed consent. Hopefully their warnings will prevent more children from going under the knife. Changing your hair, your name or your pronouns is one thing, but making irreversible medical decisions as a minor that could leave you infertile is entirely another. We don't even trust kids to commit to a tattoo until they're 18. Allowing 13-year-olds like Kayla to undergo irreversible and invasive elective procedures like double mastectomies is unconscionable.